Good morning, everyone. Good morning to this, our fourth class in the 2021 autumn Eurythmy as immune support system class. So happy to be with you again. And this is the class in which we're going to wrap up the lessons that we've done in this series. I'd like us all to remember that we are still in the season of fickleness, the season of autumn, where we enter the changing times and need courage and strength to face the inner darkness, face the darkness that is coming in the seasons around us, except for those of you in the southern hemisphere. And let's remember that as we approach our work. Remember, with our immune support work, our focus is on building our own innate sources of resilience, of inner strength. And research has shown that we all can build that inner strength, that inner resilience. And I believe that that is an essential aspect for all of us as we try to avoid colds and flus. And also, those with greater resilience are the ones who will most successfully not contract, or not become seriously ill with the contemporary COVID, which is endangering all of us. So that's the inspiration for us. How can we live lives attuned with our spiritual heart, our spiritual soul, our spiritual archetypes to be truly healthy in body, soul, and spirit? Yes, even in these tumultuous times that we live in. So in this series, we have gone through a set of exercises, and each time we've been together for an hour working on these exercises. And today I'm going to go through the exercises in a general way in the beginning, and then towards the end of class, I will go through the exercises again from the beginning, showing you how all of these things that we've worked in can be well compacted into a 15-minute session. And dear friends, I've also prepared a paper for you that you will receive in your PDF, which will tell you, if you only have 5 minutes to work on your exercises, how to prioritize which one or ones you're going to choose to make the most concise but deeply nourishing series that you can do. So let's begin today. We won't quite do the series as we have in previous weeks, so that we can really focus on being sure that you've got all the skills and inspiration you need to do this well. Okay. All right, friends, take your place in your room. Our opening exercise, the peace exercise, is really for us to leave behind ourselves the considerations of the day and really become present. That's why I always begin my Eurythmy practice with the warm-up exercises, and we've chosen for this series the peace exercise with feet together. Picture the stars above your head and the earth below your feet. Feeling yourself connected to both, you find the vertical axis. Spread your arms wide, and this opens your heart through your body to the world around you. In addition, feel the space in front of you. Notice how that's the space we enter to be really engaged in deeds. And feel the space behind you, the space of the invisible world that we should always bear in mind so we are fully present in this space. Now we want to deepen and enliven that experience by moving through it. Remember, the space you move with your arms is living space. This is not merely a physical exercise, it's an etheric exercise. Going down, you move through space. You feel, I recognize gravity. I am built to carry gravity as long as I'm alive. Releasing yourself from gravity, acknowledge I belong also to the stars. You feel the lightness of levity. Come back and hold your balance in the middle and awaken in yourself the feeling of the widths of the world. Don't just have your arms wide, you feel yourself connected. And now put all of your attention in the space in front of you. The world of the senses consumes us always. And put your attention behind you. The world of spirit releases you. And inside your heart, you bear an image of the whole world. And we take this deeper on these occasions when we do it more than one. And we feel, may peace be below me. May peace be above me. And may peace be all around me. With your hands lovingly making peace. May peace be before me. And may peace be behind me. You can feel through your back. Your eyes go empty here so that you're really vividly feeling through your body. And may peace be within you. Now I'd like you to notice how these three axes of space have everything to do with our three primary soul exercises. When we work the up and down space, we're relating to the exercise of Hofu. Feel downness and up. That's the axis that the Hofu exercise works in. When we spread our arms wide, we're in the axis that the love exercise lives in. And when we move forwards and backwards, we're preparing ourselves for the space we need for the hope, for the reverence exercise. Bring your hands to your heart. You're in this quiet space now. Consider the mysteries of the human heart, the blood that flows, always going between the periphery of your body and the center of your body. We try to understand that the heart is not a pump, but a sense organ for world and self. And through that, then, we find the heart is the middle. And from there, we go into our contraction expansion exercise. Feel you don't just have your arms big, but from your heart, you've expanded your radiance to the widths of the world. And now from all directions, bring light into your heart from up your legs, from side to side, and your head downward. Practice that as you breathingly open and close with the gentleness, yes, even of a flower. You may inwardly hear these words: within my heart shines the light of the sun. Within my soul moves the warmth of the world. I will breathe the light of the sun. I will feel the warmth of the world. Feel this richness of space all around you. Wrap in not only your arms, wrap all of space to your heart. Light of the sun, pour into me, and warmth of the world. And now drop your arms. Warmth of the world flow through you. Take a deep breath. Let that rest. In this sequence of exercises now, you're ready to go deeper and access your legs, that lowest part of yourself, where we really connect through our will to the earth. This is 5, then walking comes next. And as I've told you before, you can do this for 1 minute, or you might do it for an hour if you're using walking as a therapy. Let's just do a few steps together. Lift out of gravity, carry, and place. Lift, carry, and place. And remember, I'll walk diagonally for you. Lift, carry, place. Lift, carry, and place. Please remember, lift, carry. Each step is a complete cycle, a revolution from lifting out of gravity, sustaining in balance, connecting again to the earth. And our aspiration is to have all of these in balance, that your willfulness, your thinking, and your feeling are all equally balanced as soul capacities. Lift, willfully freeing yourself. You carry in direction, you feelingly reconnect. Lift, carry, and place. And you don't need to move your arms like I am, but I am demonstrating with my arms how this circling, cycling energy is flowing through you. But when I practice, I generally just do it with my arms still. Until in a moment, I will begin doing it with the soul gestures. Let's turn now and focus on the legs for these 2 soul exercises. As I told you when I introduced these exercises, they belong to the real collection of 12 soul exercises that are specifically mentioned as being helpful for building our resilience, our soul strength. The first ones that we begin with are these from deep down in the will. And although they are not as nourishing for the heart as the free arm exercises, they're powerful for engaging our entire body. So let's remember how we create these. Stand straight and feel right leg, left leg. And with these, we're going to, quote, create judgment with the body. And in doing so, we free the head forces out of the head and let them permeate our deeper will, and, quote, that deepens our breathing, gets us out of our head. We begin with the left foot, and we're going to make a half circle forwards and place the foot flat on the floor. Bring your foot back. And with that, we're saying, I engage, yes. This is correct. I agree. Yes. And we're doing this 10 times. Here's number 4. Yes. When I step to the front foot, I keep my weight equally balanced on both legs. The movement should be something airy because this is a freeing up energy. 8. 9. Breathing. Curiously, the no is on the right side of the body, and with the right, we use a different strength of will to say, I'm not going, I don't agree with this, I retreat. Once again, my weight is equally balanced on both legs. Again, half circle to the back. When I place, I'm equally balanced. Breathe into it. This is an inhalation. No. Inwardly feel my whole body is stepping into a negative judgment. No. You are breathing. No. No. One more time. No. And now it's really good to do them in alternation. And this is an exercise that we practice getting faster and faster. We start out at a medium tempo and then become quite fast. And then the last ones that we do slow down a bit. And with this alternation, we can do 10 sets, or we might do 20 sets. So get ready to free your energy. And here we go. Yes. No. 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 Yes. And no. Great. Perhaps you notice that you're breathing through your whole body. That's the purpose of this. Or that's one of the ways that you'll notice that it's working. Let's try that one again. Yes. No. 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 No. So we're letting the forces of the head become forces throughout the whole body. The next exercise that we've worked on at great length is the sympathy and antipathy exercise. And this one is intended to engage us warmly into our lower body, into our will. This can be helpful for people who are cold in the digestion, but also people who worry so much in the head or are so head bound that the digestion just isn't engaged. We want to bring warmth into it. Once again, I will stand in profile to show you this one. This one, in contrast to the other, is always done slowly, as if we sleep into it in a way. We have a little bit of stress in this because the entire time we have to hold our weight on the left leg. When I do it, I slightly bend my left leg. That kind of helps me to be really stable. And I just move the right leg. So I gently touch the space in front of me with the toes of my right foot. And in doing so, I allow myself to really release, open up all of my arterial blood to flow down into the lower body. Sympathy. This is the catabolic process of the anabolic, the upbuilding forces of your digestion. You move back, and sympathy. And now give your left leg a little rest by standing on both feet. And again. sympathy, antipathy, undress. And feel here you have a little concave curve, sympathy, and antipathy, a little convex curve. And sympathy, antipathy, and rest. Now, if your knee is giving out, there's no problem to gently touch the wall or a chair. Sympathy. And a few of you might be sitting in a chair and can't stand. It's also possible to do this in sitting if that's the way that your body needs to work it. But we must still have this feeling of opening and differentiating. Rest, sympathy, and continue. If you're touching the wall, if that's necessary for you, don't lean on the wall, but just touch it with your fingertips if possible, so that your center of balance stays here between your legs. You're not too much leaning on that left hip. Now, bringing warmth and appropriate coldness. And one last time, meet the food that you're eating, greet it, and change it so that it can serve you. And rest. Breathe. And once again, this is by no means intended to cultivate in you feelings of greater or lesser love. This is intended to work into your body. And then the next thing that we worked on were the exercises for the soul exercises in your hands. This is something that I've never included in my classes before, but I wanted, on the one hand, to give you something to do with your hands if you're doing free-flow walking. And in addition, I find this a very helpful way for us to feel these soul qualities, feeling qualities into our body more intensely. So I'll remind you of the offerings that I made you, that you can start by standing in earnestness. Here, just hold all of your emotions close to one. And then the second one in this series that I've offered is called lightness, where instead of standing rigidly, you have some breath, gentle. And the third one that I offered was called Inwardness. Here, you're going to, it almost looks like an Indian mudra. You touch your thumb and your first finger, your index finger together, like that, in both hands. And you feel as if you have a beautiful hood, not at all like a burqa, not like that, but a wonderful hood of intimacy in your hands. And you feel that you are holding your space and you're honoring the inwardness of your own space. Hold that for a moment. And the color of this veil around you is wonderful, deep, rich golden blue. And then from here we have the one that I called holding the candle, called piety. And you feel the intensity that I am offering you through this exercise. You really become gentle in your body, not just in your heart, but you bring this to visibility. And then you fold your arms in devotion or prayer. This one is a little bit closer to earnestness here. Hold yourself quietly without expressing your emotions outwardly, true to your inner self. And then from there, last week we added the exercises, the movements that are foundational for our next 3 big soul exercises. Love. And love is, in this sense, feeling yourself connected to the world around you through your hands. So even though it looks simply like a cross, you practice feeling yourself opening in kindness to the world. And from there, the next one is reverence. When you feel that, practice that, teach yourself how reverence feels. Those of you who've done other courses with me, you'll recognize this as a feeling of angel wings. And note carefully, I'm not trying to open up, I'm trying to feel that. So my eyes have to become very quiet so I can feel these big, beautiful wings behind me. And that gives me a feeling of reverence. And then to end with the series, hope, which is what we use in the hopeful exercise. And feeling that space behind them. So these last two, reverence and hope, are very much opening the back space, whereas all these other tender gestures are really here in the frontward soul space. Do you feel that? And then to make this enlivened a bit more, we do this with the threefold walking. Again, you can do this for an hour, or you can do a short practice. You may even choose not to do it at all. That's fine. But if you do, let's do 4 steps forward, 4 back. Earnestly. Notice that your stepping becomes quite matter of fact here. Perhaps also processional. 3, 4. And now your steps are a little bit lighter. The lift is a little bit stronger than the place. Now inwardness. Here the feeling part of your step becomes really pronounced, delicate, touching, kindly. And even there, you don't really want to be looking at the computer screen. You're feeling your inner space. And then with your candle, again, your eyes are almost shaded as you make your attention space quite close to your body, quite intimate. And then fold your arms for this experience of prayer or devotion. And now spread your arms wide. feeling love, connecting through your fingertips to the periphery. Now lift your arms behind you. Feel these angelic wings. Feel yourself carrying your back space. Now drop your arms. And as you go into the back space, feel the angelic world behind you. And you're making a cup. You're making of yourself a grail for the light. And rest. And with that, if you practice it, you will lay a really good foundation for the soul exercises. Please allow me to take one more moment here to demonstrate something for you. How in Eurythmy, as I expand, as I contract, as I am earnest, as I am intimate, I don't look up or look down, but if I talk technically, it's as if the focal point of my eyes grows or becomes smaller. So when I have expansion, my eyes, and the feeling through my eyes is big. And if I come into something small, the feeling of my eyes becomes closer. Once again, I'm not looking at anything, but I'm looking or experiencing the space close to me. I'm not going out beyond my windows here. I'm not even going as far as the computer. But here I go big and beyond my computer and out the windows into the stars. See if you can incorporate that into all of these gestures that you're doing as well. And once again, it helps your soul become more lively. All right. As I said, in a few minutes, we'll go through the whole series of exercise in a sweet 15-minute series. But in this last couple of minutes, I want to do these 3 arm soul exercises again, but only 3 times each, pointing out how they relate to the peace exercise. We begin with the love A exercise. As I said, this one has to do with opening with the horizontal axis of the cross. Here my eyes, by the way, are quite big. I'm feeling through my hands, through the world of nature and the world of humanity. And then this wonderful separation. And again, and they open wide to the widths of the world. And feel through my fingertips and myself. And if you think of the human cross, this wonderful cross we start with, this is working the widths of our heart in relation to the world. And as I've written to you before, this one is to soothe all the rhythms of the heart, especially good for regulation for those who give too much or give too little. It helps the whole heart to find its balance. Of all the soul exercises, this is the best remedial one for people whose issues in life that they want to balance are the issues of love or the issues of high and low blood pressure. And the second one we'll do is the reverence. This one is most clearly related to the front space and the back space. The world of the senses draws me in. The invisible world releases me. And this exercise helps especially people who have too much stress from being drawn into the sense world too much, who have too much anxiety, or those who have a hard time sleeping. And yes, very especially for conditions of strengthening the immune system, perhaps more than the others, because those who are so cramped into the front space can't feel and draw enough forces from the back space. So let's do the reverence 3 times. We'll practice that again. You feel front space, the world of the senses, the world of the stars and the angels behind you. As you go forwards, you can think for a moment of all the time you spend in the sense world. But let's try thinking not of your computers and all the stress that it gives you, but of the beautiful things in the sense world, flowers and trees. You remember to make a fine here. And then your angel says, but don't forget the stars. You come into this reverence mood that we just practiced. And now see how that opens your back to the stars. And you feel all the stars in the sky behind you. Keep feeling your back. Keep feeling the back until your sensation gets down to your heels. And then you find yourself back in the middle. That's what you repeat through this exercise. I love the world. I learned to always find my strength in the archetypes, in the sources of the world. All the way down to your heels. And one last time. And wrap your arms, feeling the back at your shoulder height, at your waist height, through the back of your legs, and down to your heels. At the end of that, feel this luminous light space in yourself. Yes. And finally, the hope exercise, which has to do with bringing the star forces from above all the way down into the feet, into the legs, and grounding you. As I've told you several times before, this is the most powerful grounding exercise that I know. So this one is given to strengthen your metabolism. So I'm offering these little guidelines so that if you can only choose one of these exercises to do, you will find out which one is best for your type. Are you a heart person who needs to balance heart? Are you too much in stress? You need to balance this. Or in the case of the Hopu, is your metabolism weak, flaccid, stressed? And you would need the Hopu. And so you reach into the backspace, prayerfully asking for health to be really well in your body. When you gather up star forces from behind you, from above you, and with this modified you channel all these forces past your head, past your throat, past your heart, through the diaphragm, into the legs, and you catch them with your feet. Feel yourself rounded all the way into your feet and then through your feet deeply into the earth. You do this, you feel the sound in. Again, leaning back, lifting up into space, and remember once again, how do we do that? What is it? Prayerfully asking for help. And you linger here for a moment. Don't forget to linger. And when you feel ready, you lift as you lift, your arms are filled, you're making this cup, and then you invert this cup and take it right down into yourself. The legs are, if possible, squeezed together here in this groove. Thank you. All right, we're going to go through a really beautiful 15-minute series now. I would like to ask briefly here, though, are there any questions that I can answer before we go into that? That might put us a little bit behind schedule, but this would be the appropriate time for questions. So do you have any there, Michelle? Just 3 or 4 minutes, please.
Okay, so Janine said it almost looks like a T moving in front of your body instead of becoming an U.
It does almost look like a T. And nonetheless, we have to experience it differently. We are, as in the T, gathering forces, but it is with vowel energy that we slide down through ourselves. With the T, we have impact energy. This is an impact. This is flow all the way through. You're right, but it is different.
Thank you. And then Julie said, how many times should one do each of the soul exercises?
So I'm so happy you asked. Yes, this is in the paper that you're going to get in your PDF that I'll send out to you later today in the document. If you can, you do each one 10 times. If you need to restrict it, you could do it 7 times.
Wonderful. And I believe, yes, we're ready to move into the delicious 15-minute practice.
Are you ready, dear friends? So we will do all of them, but fewer times. And I'm counting on you to be warmed up already. Take your place. We'll do the hope exercise one, or the peace exercise one time. We'll move straight into it. Behind my cross. Preparing for my Eurythmy practice, I feel, may peace be below me. May peace be above me. May peace be all around me. May peace be before me. May peace be behind me. May peace be within me. And feel yourself not in a hurry here. Got a delicious 15 minutes ahead of you. Be quite quiet. So now we open out of the heart space and begin to breathe it. Within my heart shines the light of the sun. Within my soul weaves the warmth of the world. I will read the light of the sun. I will feel the warmth of the world. Light of the sun pour into me, and warmth of the world flow through me. As I drop my arms, I feel my legs enliven. And now, in a short practice, just for a moment, I enliven my threefold walking. 4 steps forward. I balance. Carry, lift, lift, carry, lift. And if you're conscious after all that we've done, of understanding how this is enlivening your legs. With every step, you'll be stepping better and more grounded, standing straight. We begin the yes, no exercise. Yes, 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 yes. And then no, 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 and no, and both of them, and yes. Release, keep releasing. Go as fast as you can. Slow it down. Rest and let it settle free. Yes, no, you might not have been able to keep up with me yet. You can work. Enough sympathy and antipathy. This one takes longer, so we may do it only 7 times. Sympathy. If you need to touch something for support, you may, but don't ever let yourself lose your center line. If you're putting your toe into a pool of warm water, ice cube behind you, and one last time. Now, in this abbreviated series, we won't take the time to do the extra threefold walking with your hands. Practice it when you have an opportunity. Now we'll go on to the 3 large soul exercises with the arms, and without hurrying, we'll do each of them 7 times, not 10. La, a. A message for your heart. Love, your eye focuses expanded. A. Closer in. Love. A. One more time. This time I won't speak it. Always do the exercise in silence. After a good breath, then I do reverence 7 times without hurrying. Imagine the delights, the beauty of the true sense world, and give thanks for the Creator, all the way down here in reverence. Build true resilience by cultivating right relationship. Run space. Totally immerse yourself in that space. Possible to do this with more steps. Be an artist with how you place your attention. Breathe through with that one. And then hope and hope into the wondrous world around you, spirit life, and pour it into you, enlivening yourself. True sources of hope, all the way into your legs that you may be holding. Yes, and even if you have to sit for these exercises, get it all the way into your legs, to your toes. Hope. Hope. Open to the space around you, as if you are pouring golden honey through yourself. And one last time. Use your arms and feel how your feet are glued to the floor, solidly positioned in gravity. Thank you. We have done it, a 15-minute journey through all of these. And as I explain on the paper that you will get shortly, if you have time for only a 5-minute exercise, nonetheless, it's important to do it every day. So if you have to choose one exercise that you can do, choose to do one of these three: love A, awe, reverence, or hope O, and do that one 10 times. And out of the indications that I've done, you have the information you need to choose which one of these you will do. Now, as we close for today, remember I'll stick around for some more minutes with the more advanced students or the more experienced students. But I'd like to, with this, close this part of this series and let you know what's coming up. I'll be starting my next series next week. And this next series will be working strongly with the sounds of language and with poetry going through the autumn season. And the focal point for this study of the consonants will be to work with the 4 elements: earth, water, air, and fire, and their correspondences to the formative forces that we need in us, the earth forces, the life forces that we need, the water etheric forces, the air forces of our astral body, and the fire forces of our self. And these are all hidden inside the consonants. So that's the series that we'll take, and we'll be working on a poem. And for this series, I will not invite the advanced students to leave, because I think even the advanced and the beginners can work together on this series in these poems. So I'd like to speak the poem to you to give you a sneak preview. Listen up. It's a poem about our body and our embodiment. I love well the fiery, the flaming element, its flashes of lightning and flickering of stars. Here comes the airy ones. I love well the airy, so free and divine, where winds and the rain clouds and great eagles fly. In the water verse, I love well the watering, the rushing one, the yearningly welling one, from land to land. I love well the earth, its holiest green, where it's wondrous to wander and lovely to rest. I will, at my dying, give my being most gladly to these, my beloved, to the elements, my spirit to the fire, my soul to the air, my heart to the watery, my body to earth. Spirit shall be blazing, whole be expanding, The waves of the heart shall be surging and singing. The body shall rest. So you see, we have a wondrous big journey ahead of us, and working on this poem will be a delight for all of us, for you and for me. And we'll be working with this journey also in the month of November, at the end of October, November, which is the series of Halloween, but even more All Souls Day. Really going into these dark times before the light of Christmas. So I look forward to welcoming you onto that journey, and the evening lectures that will uh, accompany this theme will be the theme of the nature of the human being. And there I will speak more about our four bodies and also our relationship to minerals, plants, and animals, and to the spiritual world. So we have a rich series coming up, and you will get the sign-up registration for that quite soon. So those of you who are still new and still building your capacities, I welcome you to check out right now if you like. And the rest of you, stick around for a few more minutes for one more bow in the Michaelic poems that we've been working on. Thank you so much. And now, in the spirit of the Michaelmas festival, let's move on to the poems. In the series of Michael, we need the forces of iron. And some of you will remember that last year, when we experienced the fall season, we worked with the sound of iron. And this is the sound A. And so let's practice that a little bit before we do the poem we've been working on. A is the second sound in our vowel series. Ah opens us to the world, makes us receive without boundaries, even as the young infant. And the A is the beginning of self-awareness, where you say, I discover my own inner space and I separate myself from the outer space, from the other. I live behind this appropriate boundary. The world lives out there. These are forces that we need in the season of Michael, especially to come to terms with the fear, and the doubt, and the hate and the dread that's around us. You can see, and please join me, we can do a belligerent A. And with that, you feel, get away from me. Try again. A. One more time. A. But we can also do a different kind of A, cultivating instead appropriate boundaries. So we cross here, A. And crossing here, you feel that your focus is right there where your hands touch. You press them one against the other. And now if I were with you in a room, as I do with children or even adults, if I'm teaching this A, I would come up to you and I would press against that meeting point where your hands are. And I would press to see if I can push you over, or if you have grounded yourself so firmly that I can't push your hands back. So feel my pressure against you, threatening you, and you push against me. Then I get really cheeky. I press, and you push back, and then I release my arms. You might fall forwards. Also not appropriate. See if you can find the right balance between inside and outside. So will press against you, or I might release, but you won't waver. So this is involved in all the crossings in the body, even the crossing of the focal point of our eyes, crossing of the neurons. Everywhere in us where there are crossings, we are bringing polarities together on the way to reestablishing unity. So sometimes, if a patient needs this, we build a barbed wire fence. Then it can be developed into a full-on therapeutic exercise. I won't do that with you right now, but we'll just kind of lay the foundations for it. Create a boundary above. This is, if you really made this gesture mild, it would be a gesture instead of crossing your wings in reverence. But here I want you to make it really strong, not necessarily belligerent, but a powerful boundary with your arms. A little bit lower, creating focus, creating points of cognition. Inwardly, we hear A. Continue to build down. You feel yourself establishing your inner geometry, your inner self perception. It's happening physiologically, and we're underscoring it with Eurythmy, getting this nice Mars energy engraved. A. A. Rest your arms without giving away your strength. A. A. Up. A. And make you kind of tingle inside, sparkle a bit. And then we do that with the legs as well. So step like this, cross your legs. For those of you who cannot move well, you will just cross your legs one over the other. Squeezing tight each time. And I'd like the rest of you who are a little younger in body or soul to jump forwards with your legs crossed and backwards. Cross your legs the other way and back. And let's do that with the arms again from the top. Focus on your inner feeling, boundaries. Find the midline. Really building self-perception. Feel the power in this. And down, we're going to go down right through that middle axis. And then back up and rest. And explore the sensations that resound in your body afterwards. And that tremendously awakening. So in a couple of minutes, I'll come back in and see if you have questions about this. But we see a lot of people who are asymmetrical in body, soul, or spirit. And this is really to bring health and focus and Mars energy into the body. All right, let's return to the poem that we have been working on, the alliteration poem. And today, as we begin, let's imagine ourselves in Scotland, if you will, the high bluffs above the ocean, and you are a bard. So choose the cloak of your choice. And we're going to walk. I'll walk on a diagonal, giving myself as much room as I have. You can walk in a circle, I don't mind, but use your imagination to feel the wind blustering, trying to blow you off course. And with the force of your incarnation as a druid master, you walk forcefully. Take one step and balance against the wind, grounded, and another. And another. What colored boots do you have? The wind threatens you, but you won't be driven off. And backward. And now you can take your staff and use it to support you and to ground your energy into the ground. And in this exercise series, we're working with the force of alliteration, the initiate mysteries of the Nordic people. For those who know Waldorf education, we do this in the 4th grade. We're practicing, inspired by that time in history, of people who understood the power of the logos and felt how the creative word could create our earth as if striking into the earth with the power of each consonant. It's also kind of a preview of what we'll do next week. So I'm going to speak the first lines of the poem that we've been working on to remind you of what we're doing, and then we'll go through the whole thing. Hail to Michael, and then we have the 2 alliterated words, I hope you remember, brave and bright. And with this word brave, because it's alliteration, book, comes twice in this line, you're going to stamp, and in stamping, you send your energy 10, 20 feet into the earth. Nothing could push you over. And now with the other foot, as I say the second word, and bright. So incarnated. This is the initiation wisdom that was used to strengthen the understanding, the experience of the logos. This was the path of the bards. The first line is Hail to Michael. We won't move them yet. Brave and bright. We'll alliterate brave and bright. Hail to Michael. Brave and bright. Now we do 3 steps. Who loves to live in the light. Alliterate those 3. Who loves to live in the light. With swinging sword he smites. With swinging cord he smites the dragon dark and drear. The dragon dark and drear. Hail the Lord, the victory of the light. And then we stand. Doesn't that feel like that sound A? We're bringing in those logos energy the word energy, Mars energy. Okay, once again. Hail to Michael, brave and bright, loves to live in the light, who loves to live in the light, the swinging sword. Sorry, I forgot one, didn't I? The fierce foe he fights. Did I get the words right? I think I did. The fierce foe he fights with swinging sword he smite. The dragon, dark and drear, hail the victory of the light. And now that same power that we took in the legs, we'll do with our arms. Not yet the Michael word, which we worked on last week, but standing straight, you'll clothe yourself in the beam. Hail to Michael, brave and bright. And L, three strong L's, who loves to live in the light. Fierce foe he fights, the fierce foe he fights. Right arm S with swinging sword he smites the dragon, dark and drear. Hail the victory of the light. And see if you tingle all over from your blood being enlivened. And now let's remember what we learned last week with the word Michael. And you'll remember I said, let's do Michael, which is the way it's expressed in the non-English languages, Michael. And this brings in the E sound and the K sound for a different kind of strength. Michael. Hail to me. I did CH with you last time, didn't I? Me. Ah. A. And remember I said when we do a name, we should do all the sounds in it. So we'll do me. CH. Ah. Here's my A. A. Michael. Hail to me. Ah. A. All right, let's do one last time the whole verse. Putting on your armor, strength for the times that we live in. Hail to me. High. Hail. Brave and bright, who loves to live in the light. Fierce foe he fights, the fierce foe he fights. Right arm with swinging sword he smites the dragon, dark and drear. Hail the victory of the light. All right. Thank you. And some of you have been joining in on the Thursday evening lectures where I've been talking at great length about Michael. Extraordinary study. And we must remind ourselves that we have 4 full weeks. We have another, week and a half of the season of Michael. And it is extremely important that we fill our minds, our questing with the search to understand the spiritual being of Michael, who is here working with us in our age, and especially in the autumn season. So